Sadhu to everyone and good evening, dear brothers and sisters. On behalf of Buddhist Mahavihara, we would like to welcome you to our Monday night BMV Dhamma Dana Sutta study class. I see a lot of familiar faces today and some new ones too. I'm Monica and will be introducing Bhante Dr. Chandima this evening. The Buddhist Mahavihara has been conducting the Monday night Sutta classes since July 2023 with the assistance and dedication of our dear teacher, Bhante Dr. Chandima from Canada. Dr. Chandima has been discussing the Pattakamma Sutta. This sutta will explain 4 things that are likable, desirable, and agreeable, but hard to get in the world for lay people like us. Today's Sutta class is where Bhante will discuss the layman's 4th wish. May I be reborn in good destination in a heavenly world. This Sutta class is sponsored by In Memory of Uncle Yap Ming Ling. Now, before I hand over officially to Bhante Dr. Chandima, I would like to briefly introduce you to Bhante's credentials because I believe some are new as well and may not know Bhante is very highly experienced teacher for all of us. So Bhante Dr. Chandima is the associate editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn, Raja Vidyalaya University in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society in University of Victoria, Canada. Dr. Chandima was also the Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada from 2012 to 2016. Bhante is currently the senior advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dhamma organization which you may have seen from social media network that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussions, Dhamma talks, and a variety of other Dhamma activities. His Dhamma works can be accessed from Patisota blogspot.com. So Bhante, over to you now officially. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the Monday night Sutta class. Sadhu.
Thank you, Sister Monica, for the introduction. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to another episode of our Sutta discussion at Buddhist Mahavihara, Monday Sutta discussion. So today, we are going to discuss about the 4th wish of the lay people. Can everybody hear me? Should be able to hear me. Huh? Okay, good. So if you have the text with you, we are going to go somewhere in the text, but before that, shall we pay respect to the Buddha? Let's put our palms together. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Right. I think we have some newcomers. Do we have newcomers today who are joining for the first time? Will you raise your hand? Only one person. Okay. Others must be able to know what we've been doing. So, Pattakamma Sutta, as you have studied before, is a wonderful explanation about how a layperson can manage his or her wealth. So Buddha is pretty much uh, clear about how to manage your wealth. Wealth has to be managed. Now, wealth is not necessarily money. It can be everything. It can be real estate. It can be a car. It can be vehicles. It can be what you call money, right? So all these things have to be managed in the proper way. Okay. So as we discussed this sutta at the beginning, the Buddha the Buddha does not talk about managing the wealth in the first place. He initially talks about what are the normal wishes of a layperson, and he approves, he understands those wishes. What was the first wish we discussed before, a few weeks ago? The first wish of a layperson is, may I gain, may I acquire, receive wealth righteously. Is there anybody who would like to earn money unrighteously? Maybe there may be a worst case scenario, but everybody who has a heart would like to think that I want to make money in the proper way, in a righteous way. Okay, so that is the first wish of a layperson. May I receive, may I make money, may I make my wealth righteously. Second is, what do you call? What is the second wish of a layperson? You are lay people, right? You should tell me. You, these are the things that you are supposed to have, you are supposed to make. The second wish is, having received wealth righteously, ethical way, then you may have a wish, may good reputation come to me, uh, and then to my family members, and then to my teachers. Good reputation, not popularity. There are two things. Good reputation in the sense of being a good person. So when you are a good person, the good people, wise people will comment on you. You know, in Metta Sutta, also we find it, right? In the Metta Sutta, you can find, I think this could be the third stanza of the Metta Sutta. Nacha kuddang samachari kinchiyena vinyu pare upavadeyu. May I not do even a slight akusala, that is despised, criticized by the wise people. That means we would like to have a good reputation that comes in a righteous way, but not we are going to attach to that. We are not becoming good people just because we want to get it, just because we are greedy for that. But, you know, it is a good thing. If people appreciate for what you really are, if you are a good person, that could be a good thing that might motivate you. Now, what is a perception? What kind of perception will you be having when somebody is to tell you, you are such a kind person? What could be a follow-up thought that will come to you? You feel encouraged. Maybe I had to be more kind to people. When something happens, somebody is to say, you are such a patient person. Nobody talks like that to me before. You are encouraged. You may be more patient in the next place, right? Maybe you have never received a comment. You are such a pretty person. Nobody told you so far, but somebody is to tell you. You are such a handsome person. You're getting encouraged. You want to take care of yourself. That's why people are commenting you like that. So always, what you call a good reputation is a motivator. It's a good wish. Unless you maintain it in a proper way, not too attached to that. So this is the second wish. The third wish, can you remember that? What was the third wish? Third wish was, may I, now you have wealth, now you have a good reputation. Now what do you want to do? Now you want to enjoy your life. Then in order to enjoy your life, you should live. If you die untimely, if you die at a young age, how are you going to enjoy your life? Now, enjoy doesn't mean indulging. Huh? It's not indulging. It's just to be a happy person. Then at that point, when you come to the third wish, you want to live longer. Nowadays, living longer with a lot of sicknesses is also a suffering, right? That means living longer with a quality life. So third wish is, may I live longer. Now today we come down to the last wish. Let's see what is it. The text, Pattakamma Sutta. Katami Chattaru. These are the wishes. Interesting. Now this was the third wish. Bhoge ladda sahadammena yasang ladda saha nyati saha upajjayi chirang jivami. I want to live longer. Digamayu pali. I want to enjoy long life. This was what we discussed last time. And then now we are going to the fourth wish. Bhoge ladha sahadam. Buddha rephrases everything that he discussed before. So the fourth wish is coming up here at this point onwards. Bhoge ladha sahadammena is one thing. Yasang ladha sahanyatihi saha upajjayehi. Number 2, wish 2. Chirang jivitva digamayum palitva. Number 3. The rest is the fourth wish. Having bhoge ladda sahadammena. Sahadammena means righteously. Bhoge ladda, having received, having acquired wealth righteously. Having received, ladha means received, yasang, good reputation towards you and then to your relatives and your teachers and your family members. Chirang jivitva, having lived a long life. Digamayum palitva, having enjoyed that long life. Sometimes you live a long life, you might not enjoy, isn't it? That is also a blessing. You live longer, better than others, but you don't enjoy that life for whatever the reason. Maybe the people you are with, maybe your sicknesses, maybe other reasons. Right? So there are two blessings. Having lived longer and at the same time having enjoyed that longevity. Not many people are blessed enough to have it. Now, the fourth wish, Kayasa bheda parang marana. Kayasa bheda. Bheda means breaking up. Breaking up. Breaking up of the kayasa means this physical body. Parang marana. Parang marana means param means after. Marana means death. What do you call, with the breakup of the body after death. After means parang, marana means death. Sugati, saggang, lokan, upapajjami. Sugati means a good destination. What is a good destination? Saggam. Saggam means heaven. So, with the breakup of my body, then parambarana after death, may I be reborn in what kind of place? Sugati, good destination, such as heaven. Loka, upapajjami, may I be able to be reborn in a good place, such as heaven and so forth. Ayang chatutto dhammo. Ayang, this chatutto fourth dhammo. Dhammo means what we call the thing over here. Thing means wish. Itto kanto manapo dullabo lokasmi. Agreeable, pleasant, charming, and hard to get. Imeko gahapati chattaru dhamma itta kanta manapa dullaba lokasmi. All right, now we have to study about this fourth wish. What are we going to study about? Let's see the words once again. Kayasa bheda. This is the first thing we have to study. Bheda means perishing. Perishing means or breakup. Kayasa means body. Parang marana, after the death. Let's talk about this part first. Now, when we die, what is going to happen to us? When we die, our body is going to have a, what do you call, have a breakup, right? This is what we call dissolution of the body. Do Deva also go through the same breakup of the body? Deva, deities, are they also going through the same breakup of the body? Are they? They are not, because they don't have a physical body, like a gross body. Their bodies are very subtle. Because we are eating very coarse food, very solid food, but Devas are not eating solid food. Now, this is particularly for the humans, right? So now, Kayasa Bheda, Parang Marana, after the death. Now we have to understand the Buddhist perception about the death. What does the Buddha say about the death? Was the Buddha very concerned about the death? Or was the Buddha very much concerned about killing? What do you think? Everywhere he talks about not to kill, not to help someone to kill, not to strategize to kill other people, not even kill people in their physical body, but also not to assassinate other people's characters by bad mouthing. There are people who might bad mouth just to assassinate their characters, character assassinations. The Buddha says all these are, we call Pisunavacha, all these are types of killing. What about the death, natural death, or whatever the death? He was not always concerned about it. But his whole Dhamma teaching came up as a reason of teaching the death, isn't it? Now, when you understand about our, what you call, liberation, one day as a Buddhist, many are talking we need to become an Arahanta, maybe a Pacceka Buddha, maybe a Samma Sambuddha. This is the idea. They all are saying you have to be an enlightened person, you have to be an Arahant, awakened person. Why is it? Because unless otherwise, you might be able to still go through the sansaric life. But here, Buddha has a very light teaching. He's not that much very rigorous about life. Why is it? This is for the lay people, not for the monks. Now, there are a lot of devotees who learn the teachings given by the Buddha for the monks. But this sutta is particularly for the lay people. That's why he says, even a layperson, when layperson passes away, or before passing away, layperson can have a wish, may I be reborn in a good place. Is it bad? Somebody might say by looking at Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Satchavibhanga Sutta, and other suttas, how come you wish to be reborn in the next life? Isn't it? It's a bad thing, you know. It's a bhava tanha, craving to be, but it's not. That was a teaching given to the monks and nuns. They have left the houses. Now they are planning to attain Nibbana. As a layperson, there's no problem for you to wish, may I be reborn in a better place. Why is it? In case you don't enlighten in this life, awaken in this life, what will happen to you? Let's say you are always thinking, I want to attain Nibbana, but you are not going to attain Nibbana for some reason. What will happen to you at that point? You will again go back to samsara. So do you have enough good karma? At least to be reborn as a good human again? That's why the Buddha says, do more good karmas, because we never know when we are going to come to that point, come to that stage. So we need lots of good karmas until we reach Nibbana one day. Now, how many people could not attain Nibbana even at the time of the Buddha? Even Bhante could not attain Nibbana by learning a lot of Dhamma. Why is it? It is not the knowledge, it is the application. It is the understanding of the Dhamma. Learning and understanding could be two things. Now, when you look at the explanations about Nibbana, you will see Nibbana has no, what do you call, no jati, no jara, no vyadi, no marana, isn't it? What is jati? Jati. Maybe I'm going to write down for some people who might not know this thing over here. Jati. Jati. And jara. Then vyadi. Then maran. Maran. Jati. Then jara. Vyadi. Then maran. What are these things? What is jati? Jati means birth. Birth or rebirth. Now we already reborn. So we have this birth. Then we are going to be reborn unless we attain Nibbana, definitely. Jara means aging. Jara means age. Vyadi. Vyadi means sickness, getting sick. Marana means death. Jati, Jara, Vyadi, Marana. Now, when the Buddha explains about Nibbana, he says Ajati, Ajara, Avyadi, Amaran. So he adds A before all these words. Ajati. Ajati means birthless. When you attain Nibbana, you are not carrying a birth again. Then Ajara. Ajara. Ajara means no decay, no aging. Avyadi. Vyadi, avya. No sickness. Amarana. Deathless. You're going to be deathless. Now we are dying. Huh? When you attain Nibbana, you become deathless. Very interesting, right? Deathless. Would you like to die or would you like to be deathless? What would you like? Now, in normal usage, we say devas are immortal, isn't it? They are immortal beings. They are not dying. So they are supposed to die, but after a long, long time. So now here, what we need to understand is death. That means as a layperson, you will die. Definitely you're going to die. Even you come to the temple or even you listen to the Dhamma or not, you're going to die. That's a fact. You all are dying. So how do we understand this wish, especially as a layperson in your side? Now, death is normal to all of us. But if we going to die early, would that be a disadvantage to all of you? Let me ask you. We know we are going to die, but in case you have to die early, will that be a disadvantage to your life? Is it? Will that be a disadvantage for you? Or is it okay? You will embrace that. We have to embrace what is happening. But if you are going to die early, like a premature death, I think that might not support you to practice a lot of Dhamma. Now, say for instance, you listen to a Dhamma talk 10 years ago. Now you are listening to that same Dhamma talk now. Are you discovering more insights about the Dhamma talk by now? More than that 10 years time, before time? You may. Is it a problem with the Dhamma talk? No, it is a problem with your experiences. Because you are going through different experiences time to time. As you age, you understand more. Right? Is it like you asking for a teenager to listen to a Dhamma talk? I don't care about him. This is not my time. I have to enjoy my life. But as they reach certain ages, they might think, oh no, yeah, I mean, I can feel I'm getting old and I have to understand something. There's something going on, right? So as we age, we get to know a lot of things. We get to experience a lot of things. So I think it is very important if we could live longer so that we can practice more. Even this Dhamma talk, even this Sutta discussion today, you are going to learn the fourth wish. How are you going to practice it after this Sutta discussion? You need some time, right? You need some time to think about it. You need some time to apply to your life, daily life. So ending the life might not be a good idea. That means it is very important to live longer. Actually, we discussed that in our last discussion, living longer. Now today, death. Now let me ask you, what could be a good death according to Buddhism? Now, culturally speaking, some people think if I can die in my sleep, that would be a good death, isn't it? Are some people telling like that? If you die while you are sleeping, I think it's a good death. I think they are looking at the pain side. They think that you don't know. You have no pain, but you will pass away by in that. But according to Buddhism, the Buddha says how to die. You can't do it. I mean, other person can notice it. How does other person notice it? If someone can die by being aware of the death, we call it asammulho kalankaro. Asammulho kalankaroti. Asammulho means, I'm going to write down over here for people to understand. It's like this. Asammul. Asammul. Now, sammulho means you die with confusion. You are very confused at the time of you are dead, something happening. Asammulho means you are not confused. That means you have lots of sati. You're going to die. It's like a very funny story. In one country, one father was in the deathbed. He was asking children, you came, good, you came, you came. He has given his shop to the youngest son. Then youngest son showed up. And then, yeah, why did you come? You go back to the store, We are losing customers, go back. And he passed away, right? With some attachment to the store. That's why it's very interesting to think about that dying with some awareness that I'm going to die. I have less loba, less dosa, less more. Asammodho. That means it would be a very wonderful, very peaceful death if somebody is to die with less loba, less dosa, less more. In Abhidhamma, they have a word for this. Not in the early Buddhist teachings. The Theravada Abhidhamma, they say this kind of death is called Tehetuka death. You don't have to be worried about it. They say when somebody passes away with a Tehetuka, three tired kusala or akusala. Let's say someone is going to pass away now. That person's last thought is with less loba, less doha, less more. Then what is happening? They say it's a three-tired kusala thought, and that can take him to her to a very good destination. Some people die with only two tired kusala thought. They have less loba, less, but still more moha. Some people die with some attachment, some greed, but no hatred, no one tired kusala. So these are kinds of uh, things that are really applicable to somebody's death. So anyways, what you need to understand is death is inevitable, but you can be deathless by attaining Nibbana. This is the plan. But anyways, now here it's about you. You may not be able to come to that point. It's okay. Don't have to worry about it. But you wish to be reborn in a better place. What if you are asked by someone, how would you like to be reborn? Or maybe what could be the place that would you like to be reborn? Or how many places to be reborn? That thing has to be discussed. How many places to be reborn in Buddhism, in Buddhist text? There are 31 places. How many? There are 31 places to be reborn. Starting from the, what do you call, maybe I'm going to write down a little bit, something over here. You can draw a little bit. Okay, maybe over here. 16. So basically we say this is the human world. We don't say it's a human world, human space. And then below the human space, we know there are 4 apayas. There are 4 apayas. Right? 4 apayas. This is called Naraka, Tirachana, Peta, Asura. Naraka means hells. Probably I can, maybe I can write down, but it's very clear to write down. Yeah, we call it Naraka. The second one is called, yeah, Naraka. I think I have a problem in writing down. So better I'm going to just read the names. Yeah. Naraka, Tirachana, Peta, Asura, then human space. So these are called 4 hells. 4 hells. Huh? Naraka means the lowest place, which has 16 subdivisions. So out of these 16, 8 are whole hells and 8 are hot hells. That's the lowest place. Then you find animals, the second apaya. Third one, we call it Naraka Tirachan Petas, ghost, hungry ghost and other ghost, Peta. They are much better than the animal. They have more facilities over there. And then the last one is called Asuras. They are more powerful than all of these. And then the human space. So now there are 5, who are apayas and humans. Above the human space, there are 6 heavens. Okay. Called Chatu Maharajika, Yama, Tavatinsa, Tusita, Nimmayavati, Paranimitaras. Highest heaven. Above the heavens, you would see 16 Brahma worlds. Yeah, 16 Brahma worlds. We call them MB, material Brahma worlds. Above the 16 material Brahma worlds, there are 4 other Brahma worlds, but they are Arupa Brahma, AB. All right. So these are in total 31 places. All right. Now you would of course understand being reborn as a human much better. At the same time, being reborn as a Deva, being reborn as a Brahma, normal Brahma, higher Brahma, they are definitely good ones. But if you are supposed to be reborn as a Naraka person, maybe you be reborn as an animal, maybe a Peta, maybe a Asura, then I think that would be a problematic destination, problematic place. Now, let's talk about some examples, some stories. What is a good story to think about the next life? Can you remember one lady, very famous lady in the Buddhist stories? Who was it? Kosala Mallika. Her name is Kosala Mallika. Who is Kosala Mallika? One of the queens of King Kosala. So this lady was the queen, one of the co-queens of the king, but she made a mistake behind the king. And then that came to her mind at the time of the death. But you have to know what she been doing. She is the one who offered the highest dana to the Shakyamuni Buddha. What dana? Highest dana. What is the highest dana? Highest dana. It is said that the highest dana is called unparalleled dana. Unparalleled means nobody can do like that. So she had to find 600 white elephants. Would you find 600 white elephants for dana? And then she made all the elephants to hold an umbrella to 500 monks, arahants, with the Buddha. And she offered. That is the highest dana a devotee offered to the Buddha during the Shakyamuni Buddha's time. Highest dana. But during the passing away time, that bad incident came to her mind. Normally, we might hide our akusalas. We can hide. The nature that we can hide our akusala is called Maya. I think I have to tell that too. This is that name of the akusala. Maya. What is it called? Maya. Maya means, don't connect to Prince Siddhartha's mother, Buddha's mother. She is also Maya. But the name of the Maya is akusala state. It is a upakilesa. Maya means concealing one's own akusala. You do akusala, but you are concealing. You lied to someone, but you say, no, I did not lie. You did something akusala, but you are going to conceal that, hide that. So, Kosala Mallika concealed her akusala from the king and everybody. But finally, just before she passed away, she could not hold that thought any longer. She was by default thinking, I did that. I could have not done it. She passed away. She was reborn in one of the hells. Interesting, huh? The person who gave the highest dana to the Buddha was reborn as a person in the hells, the lowest place. Not even became a beta. What would happen to us then? Huh? What would happen to us if Kosala Mallika was reborn as a hellish being? That's an interesting story. So, King Kosala, every day he used to go to see the Buddha at that time. Then every day, before he left the palace, he was thinking, where was my Mallika reborn? I want to ask from the Buddha. Every day, Buddha made him forget about this question. Because Buddha cannot say that, Mallika was reborn in hell, then he is a normal being, right? He would have been really upset about it. How come? She did a lot of good karma. So for 7 days, Buddha made him forget about this question. So when he came to the Buddha, he talked something else. But after 7 days, he did not make him forget about the question. He asked, Bhante, where is my Mallika was reborn? She was reborn in heaven. Actually, on the 8th day, she was reborn in a heaven. Interesting, right? That means by doing a very big dana, unparalleled dana, whatever, not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is a trained thought, a trained mind. This is the most important thing that you can be benefited in your Dharma learning. Our thoughts have to be trained enough to pass through that mode. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not important to give dana, keep giving danas. That's why she was reborn on the 8th day in the heaven. But why she had to be reborn in that? Because her thoughts were not trained. She has not practiced training her thoughts. That thought came back. Now, say for instance, as normal people, do you think that there is a person who has not done any bad karma? all of them have done certain bad karmas, more or less. Let's accept our true, honest life. But when we look at our bad karmas, now we know that was bad. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm going to be honest to myself. I'm going to do the opposite of that bad karma. So I can make up my mind. But she has not trained her thoughts. What she was doing was that she was doing good things all the way. But she has not looked at that bad karma she did. That's why it took over the last thought. That means it's very important to practice training our thoughts. You might call it a meditation, you might call it a sacred pose, you might call it a kindness practice, whatever. Whatever the thing you are doing, you should be able to train your thoughts anytime in your life. That's important. Very important. So then you are guaranteed to be reborn in a better place, because we need to be reborn in a better place, because we have to make sure that we have enough good karmas to proceed from that place. There are many other stories that we can learn. Now think about many hungry ghosts at the time of the Buddha. Uh, Even some other monks, some other kings, some other people who had to die, and then how they were reborn, right? I think I shared this story a long time ago. There was a monk who passed away, and then other monks were going to cremate his body. And then the Buddha stopped them cremating his body, telling them that uh, that monk, the monk who passed away, now will come back to the body as a moth because he liked his robe a lot. Now he will come back to the robe again. So don't cremate his body. You're gonna cremate his body with the robe, right? He will come back. So when you like anything, even a spiritual thing, too much, maybe if you become greedy, it's going to be a problem. The problem is greed. So how to have a peaceful death? It is only by training your thoughts. How to train our thoughts? That's a good question, right? How can we train our thoughts? By practicing satipatthanas, right? One of the satipatthanas, at least one of the satipatthanas. That is how we're going to train our thoughts. Then the rest of the good karmas will take effect in the proper way. Now, although there are people who are wishing to be reborn in a better place, but they might not be able to be reborn. So let me quote a sutta for you to read. Majjhima Nikaya has a sutta called Pattakamma Vibhanga. You can find out the number, the sutta, Pattakamma Vibhanga. This is going to be, all right, Majjhima Nikaya 136. Right? Majjhima Nikaya, I'm going to use this part, MN 136. It's called Pattakamma Vibhanga. Vibhanga Sutta. So Vibhanga means analysis. Maha means great. Kamma means come. So the great analysis of the come. That is what we call by what we call the Sutta's name. What can you learn in this Sutta? The Buddha talks about very interesting four people. The Pali words are, I don't need to probably mention them, it's kind of too long. Let me tell you the idea. The Buddha says that there is someone who has done good karmas, like many of you, all of you maybe. And then after passing away of that person's life, the person is going to be reborn in a good place. Is this a very normal phenomenon to us? Someone does good things and going to be reborn in a good place, heavens or Brahma. Is it a normal thing? It's a very normal thing, right? This is what we hear from many Dhamma talks, books, and everything. First person. Second person. There is a person who has done a lot of akusalas, maybe one akusala, maybe 9 akusala, 10 akusala. Then after the death, this person is going to be reborn in a bad place, mostly the four hells. Is this a normal phenomenon? This is a normal phenomenon because that person has done bad karmas, right? Definitely this could happen. We do bad karmas, then it's very normal to think that that person will be reborn in a bad place. This is what we hearing from many Dhamma talks, many books, right? They are talking like that, right? Everywhere. But the last two people are different. They are the ones we have to learn only. There's a good person who has done a lot of good karmas, but after the death, that good person is going to be reborn in a bad place. Is this normal to us? This is not normal to us. It's like Kosala Mallika's case. Kosala Mallika's story. I would add another story to this. There is a story about a monk. I think his name was Ekarapatta. He was a very virtuous monk. And then, but one day, a certain thing happened to him. You know, Pasampada monks, uh, they don't break branches of trees, tiny minor vineru. But somehow he broke one small branch of a tree. Now he is thinking that, oh, I made a big mistake. Nobody knows, nobody cares about, who cares about somebody broke a branch of a tree, small. But he's taking it very seriously because his practice was more about seal. So at the time of his death, this came to his mind. I was such a good person. I had a lot of sila. I had a lot of sila, but this happened. I broke the branch of the tree. He passed away. What happened? He became a very large cobra in the same monastery. What a pity. He became a very big cobra in the same monastery because he was having dosa. When you are remorseful, regretful about any event, good or bad, you are developing anger, dosa, hatred. When you have hatred and when you die with hatred, you are most likely becoming a reptile, especially a snake. This happens to this monk. So now there are many good people outside. Maybe they make some mistakes too, but they will never become snakes. Why? They are happy people. So we should be able to understand what happened and let it go. But that monk could not let that go. Even Kosala Mallika couldn't let that go. What she was doing was she was doing other things. She never looked at what happened. Probably if she looked at what happened and discussed with the king and made up her mind, she could have reborn in a better place. That means when you have done a bad karma, you need to honestly accept that bad karma from you and then to do some good karmas by understanding. I will not do that again. I will not repeat that bad akusala. Then you are okay. But here the third person is somebody who has done a lot of good karmas, but going to be reborn in a bad place, at least for a short time. Why it happens? The last moment, during the last moment of his or her life, he or she loses samadhi, right view. That means we have to die with right view because if you're going to die with samma sati has right view, right effort, and right mindfulness in all words. Samma sati. You look at it. So that's why that person can be reborn in the back. The fourth person is also not normal to all of us. Who is that? There's a bad person who has done lots of akusalas. wrong things. But once in a while, that person also has done some good karmas. Once in a while, very seldom. But more akusalas. This person has done more akusalas. But after the death, this person is going to be reborn in a better place. Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it possible for a bad person to be reborn in a better place after the death? It's not possible normally, but it is possible for a short time. Normally, for a short time, like that third person. Now, let's say there is a bad person who has done a lot of bad karmas, but 10% of his good karmas are there. 10, 90% are bad karma. 10% is good karma. Somehow, before the death, maybe during the death, he comes up with some samadhi, right? I have done bad things, but at least to some extent, I done some good things. Because of that thinking, he or she will be reborn in a better place, but not for a longer time, very short. Now you have to understand there are some differences in uh, being reborn in the next life. So Mahakamma Vibhanga Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya is, once again, I can show you the number. Mahakam Vibhanga Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya is 136 Sutta, clearly shows us how this happens. And I think you are not that bad. You've been doing a lot of good karma. So I had to say a good news then. That means you have to keep good thoughts all the time, every time. We never know what time we're going to die. You have to keep practicing, keep training your thoughts. You may attach to people, you may attach to your children, you may attach to your husband, you may attach to your wife, you may attach to certain things, but you may not be greedy for your husband. You may not be greedy for the wife. You may not be greedy for your children. You may not be greedy for the money you have, not for the house. Greed is the problem. Greed, loba, right? Kamesu vinaya gedhang metasut. The Buddha says, having abandoned, having removed the loba towards calmness. Now you may be attached to your mother and father. Who is not? Everybody is attached to their mother and father. Is it bad? Is it akusala? What is akusala is when you develop a greed towards your parents. Then it will take you to tanha. So, in order for you to practically or maybe really uh, make the next life to be reborn in a better way, you have to keep your uh, kusala thoughts as much as you can. You have to keep your thoughts free from loba, dosa, moha as much as you could. This is the only way you can make sure the next life is going to be a good life, because next life has to be a good life because we want it to be a good life, because otherwise we are not able to practice Dhamma. Now, let me ask you a very simple question. There is a perception, there's a thought that many people say to be reborn as a human being again is is similar to a one-eyed blind turtle. Turtle's phenomenon that he is coming out of the sea level once in 100 years. And once he comes out of the surface of the ocean, there's a yoke that is going to be connected to his visible eye. He opens his eye and then he sees the outside of the ocean. So people are talking that this is similar to the human birth of any being, which is incorrect. The sutta is called Bala Pandita Sutta. I think the number should be Bala Pandita Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. That's right. Majjhima Nikaya is 129. You will see this sutta. MN 129. Bala Pandita. Okay, this is the sutta where the Buddha talks about this one-eyed sea turtle. What does Buddha say? Buddha doesn't say obtaining a human life for another human is very difficult. What he says, for a being who is already reborn in a hell, Naraka Tirachana Peta Asura, to obtain a human life is as rare or as hard as that sea turtle who is coming out of the surface once in every 100 years. Now, let me tell you a good thing. For a human being to be reborn as a human being is much easier according to the Dhamma. If you really have Kalyana Mittas around you, good friends, Kalyana Mittas, you have to like other human beings. You have to be kind to other human beings. You have to have metta, karuna, metta, upekka to other beings. It's very easy for you to be reborn as a human being. But what if you are not liking human beings? You are only liking animals at that point. You might be saying that, my dog has unconditional love for me, but not the humans who I have been meeting. They are very cruel people. Maybe you made a bad choice, poor choice, and you are trying to see other humans through those two, three bad guys. That can happen, right? It's good to have some love for animals, but you should not end your life with them. Because if the last thought is about that particular animal, you are not thinking about a human and you will die. Last thought has to have a thought about another good human being. What if you think about the Buddha for your last thought? Where will you go at that point? What if you think about some Dhamma friends, some good things you've been doing for your last thought? But what if an animal comes to your mind at the moment you are dying? Right? Remember, in one other sutta, we call it Kukkuravatiya Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. Somebody came to see the Buddha and he said, Bhante, you see, there are people over here. They are acting like a dog because they think when they act like a dog, they eat like a dog, they talk like a dog, they do other things like a dog, they sleep like a dog. What will happen to their next life? And he said to the Buddha, Bhante, they are expecting to be attaining Nibbana, right? By doing so, being a dog. And he said, if somebody is always acting like a dog, always having thoughts about dogs, always thinking how to talk like a dog, how to behave like a dog, how to go like a move like a dog, then that person will become a dog in the next life. That's pretty certain. And you see, there is other person over here. He talks like a cow. He walks like a cow. He does other things like a cow. What will happen to his next life? He will become a cow next life. Because majority of his actions are like a cow. It's pretty certain, right? Let's say you are a human being. For the most part of your life, you have been acting like a bad person. Then the same thing will happen to you when you pass away. So, for a human being to be reborn as a human being is not that difficult. But I warn you, you must practice 10 kusalas. There's a good news. Now, we are not like other religions. There are some religions who are saying that you are bornly sinners. You are sinners. You have to expiate. But the Buddha says nobody are sinners. Everybody has potential. So, what Buddha says is that you must have done a very big good karma to be reborn as a human already, isn't it? You have something to eat, you have a place to stay, you have some friends, you don't have that much suffering compared to people you see. That means you already had done a massive good karma in a previous life. So, what we can say to you, do the same thing again. Do the same thing again in a better way. Do more good karmas so that becoming a human being again is not that difficult. You must engage in 10 kusalas in order to become a human being. What are they? Not killing, not stealing, not sexually misbehaving for the body, not lying, not slandering, not using bad words, hurtful words to others, and not gossiping, idle chatting for the speech, and not being covetous, extreme greed, not having ill will, not having wrong will. These are the 10 things for the mind. If you try to do these 10 as much as possible every day, every moment in your life, then being reborn as a human being is not far away, not that far for you. Now, it's very important to be a human being, because if you become a deva, can you practice Dhamma as a deva? Very difficult, because when you have a lot of comforts, you don't think about Dhamma, right? Isn't it? When you have a lot of happiness, do you think about Dhamma? When you have a lot of pain, can you think about Dhamma? No, I don't have enough things to eat also. How come I go to a vihara and listen to a Dhamma talk? I don't meet my basic needs also, right? And so being reborn as the human being is the best choice to practice Dhamma. Unless you be reborn as a Brahma in one of the Brahma worlds, because we have 5 pure lands. Other than that, being reborn as a human being is the best choice. So be thankful to your good karma. Never know what was that, but you did it. So being reborn as a human being is the best. That's why when some devas come to see the Shakyamuni Buddha, then the Shakyamuni Buddha, our Buddha, started talking about impermanence, change, called anicca. Then all these devas, they become faint, they become dizzy. So they regain their consciousness. Again, the Buddha is talking anicca. They again become unconscious, because they never have thought about, heard about that their happiness can change anytime. Only the Buddha talks about that changes are going to happen in your happiness part. So they become unconscious. Then they regain their consciousness. Even at that point, he's talking about anicca. That means we are very lucky to learn these things. So human life is the best. But do not misuse the human life. This is what we have to learn from the 10 kusalas. So today, if we go back again to our section, the fourth wish. Okay, so here. Okay, kaya sabeda, with the breakup of that means our body will be dissolved. Parang marana, after that. Sugating sagga. Now sagga means there are, as you can see, 6 heavens, 16 Brahma worlds, 4 higher Brahma. So the mostly 22, 26, 27 with the human world. So these are the better places. Huh? Loka upapajjamiti. You are making a wish, may I be able to be reborn in that kind of a place. So this is a very good wish. I think we have to make that wish, especially you have to make this wish. And understanding that human rebirth is the best. On the other hand, what we can learn about this fourth wish is about the death. Once again, I go back to the death. Now, how do we understand the death in Buddhist teachings? There are 2 types of deaths which the Buddha is talking about. One is sammuti marana. We call it sammuti marana. Sammuti marana. Second death is kanika marana. Kanika marana. Sammuti marana means this is the natural death that will come to all of us. Natural death means natural death or maybe untimely death. whatever the death that comes to us is called Sammuti Marana. The second death is called, we call it Kanika Marana. Kanika Marana means momentary death. Momentary death. What does momentary death mean? The Buddha tells us, explains to us that we are dying every moment. Every moment we are dying. That means our aging is happening every moment. How have we grown up to this level? Right? We are dying every moment. That means death is not a very um, one-time incident. Death has been happening to us all the time. But we take it as a good thing for some time, right? Say, for instance, if you see a baby has been growing up, when the baby has been becoming a teenager, you might say, oh, so. And then a young person, middle-aged person, you might still take it as a good thing. But then after some time, you might not see this good as a good thing because of the changes of the body. So the Buddha says that there are two deaths. One is the Sammuti Marana, conventional death. The second one is Kanika Marana. So it's very important to understand these two, especially if you understand the Kanika Marana, momentary death, then we will be able to understand life very much. I mean, if the death has been happening to us every moment, then we are able to practice more Dhamma. We can feel that this is happening within our life. It's not that you are waiting to see your first white hair, wrinkle, broken tooth, whatever. You are seeing the changes that have been happening throughout the time. All right, I think we can discuss more. I mean, I can give the chance to ask questions now. If anybody has any questions, please come up. Maybe raise your hand, come up and ask questions. Right? If you have a question, please come up and then ask about the fourth wish today. Yes, please. Yes, I do. Please. Highest dana. You mean the Malikas one? Ah, I see. Okay. I don't have lots of information about that, but I can barely say something about, I can find out more information about it. But what I know is that uh, you should need 500 or 600 elephants. And then these elephants are holding an umbrella towards each arahants and the Buddha. And then they are, coming to the palace, royal palace. And then, somebody from that royal family is offering that. So this is what I know. Maybe I can find more information next time. Yeah. We call it unparalleled dana because nobody can do that kind of dana. Impossible to do uh, by a normal person. But the problem is, even after doing that dana, the person who organized that was reborn in a hell. That's the funny thing in a way, because of the last thought, right? So we had to be very careful about our thoughts. The, you know, right? Any other thoughts, questions about today, or maybe yes. Uh, uh, uh. Okay, good question again. Huh? Last thought is not a standalone thought. It's not a separate thought. I think last thought is a thought that is in the uh, many thoughts that we are having. So can we know when is our last thought? We cannot know that. I mean, there are some Dhamma talks given by many, how to die peacefully. How do we know when we're going to die? we, we never know when we're going to die. So last thought is a thought that is in the process of many thoughts. Then what can we do? We should be able to keep our thoughts trained in alobha, adosa, moha as much as possible. That means we have to give more thoughts about the dana, generosity. We have to give more thoughts about the metta and then panya, wisdom. How to do it? We need to engage in certain activities. Dana is not necessarily going to the vihara and offering food. You can't do that all the time. You may do time to time. But you should have a generous mind, always trying to be helpful, supportive, um, thoughtful about what other people need. It might be a good smile, it might be sharing your knowledge, it might be volunteering, always trying to help other people. So whenever you are engaged in those activities, most of the thoughts could be mostly dana thoughts. Now you never know when you're gonna die, but now you are practicing dana thoughts. And then hatred. I think one of the biggest issues that we all may experience time to time, hatred, things that we didn't like, people who we didn't like, maybe the people who have been mean to us at different points of life. A lot of people are carrying the interest of those events forward, right? They cannot let go. They are every day they are carrying them forward. Maybe they are not with you anymore. They already passed away. Maybe they are good people now, but still you are carrying those bad memories with you. Then let's say you are dying with one of these thoughts. You have hope, those are hatred, and you will become that thing. So that means we have to let go. If they are good people now, why do we have to carry those thoughts anymore? Sometimes the bad people who have been bad to us already passed away. Why we want to carry those thoughts? Let's say they are still living, but you still have a good, have a safe distance from them. You are a good person. They cannot do anything to you. So heal yourself and then practice more forgiveness at the same time. Metta. So then you are practicing metta thoughts, dana thoughts, metta thoughts. And then in order for you to do these dana thoughts, metta thoughts, you must have some wisdom, understanding what really happened. I should not carry lobha thoughts. I should not carry dosa thoughts. That comes as a uh, consequence of you having some wisdom about it. Because you are, if you can understand that they are good, that means you have wisdom. So the answer to your question is, if you carry dana thoughts, metta thoughts, panya thoughts every time by engaging in those particular actions, activities, then let's say you're going to die 20 years from now, 30 years from now, even 10 days from now, I hope not, maybe many years from now, then the last thought will also be the same thought. But if you think that now you are okay, but I will do something when I die, it won't happen. Because at the time of your death, you will be super weak in your thoughts. In your thoughts, because according to some teachings of the Buddha, when people are dying, their intensification of Chetana is going very down. We call it Javana in Pali. This is an Abhidhamma term. Huh? Let me write that for you. You know the Pali word called Chetana. Chetana. This Pali word. Chetana. This is how our karmas are making, you might call it volition. Let's say you are doing a good karma. So depending on how much progressive your Chetana is, good karmas will be creating because of Chetana. But at the moment of your death, your Chetana is going through some Javana states. Call it Javana. What is Javana? Intensification. That means your Chetana is going through an intensification stages. So it is said that when someone is going to die, your Chetana's power is going down because you are not anymore going to live, right? So then it is very difficult for you to come up with a wholesome thought at the time of your death unless you have been practicing all the way for many years of dana, metta, panya thoughts. That means we have to now create more dana thoughts, more metta thoughts, more panya thoughts, so that even you die in 30, 40 years from now, that last moment will also have a lot of dana thoughts, lot of metta thoughts, lot of panya thoughts. So that's the answer to that. Nothing else. Otherwise, once in a while you go to Vihara, you do good things and you come back. You become the same person again. Right? It might not guarantee that you will be reborn in a better place. What can guarantee you is that you are practicing dana thoughts, metta thoughts, panya thoughts, 24/7, 365, all the time. That is the only guarantee. That makes sense? It might not be your expected answer, but I have to say, because there is no shortcuts. The only shortcut is understanding the proper way. That itself will become the shortcut, but it is good. I mean, if you keep practicing dana thoughts are not just offering food. It's a very big concept. Dana means you are very generous, wholeheartedly. Otherwise, you might see even politicians have dana thought. They are making some welfare for the people, that they may have some ulterior motives. Right? Now, dana thoughts mean you have dana, chaga, giving and giving up. You have lots of uh, what you call generous thoughts about other people. You want to be kind to other people. You want to help them. You have no expectations, no strings attached to your activities. You are such a giving person by understanding the situation. Metta is the same thing. So another thing I could say, you could do a meditation, like a daily metta meditation. That's a very important. Every morning, at least 5 minutes, you need to practice metta. At least 5 minutes. Why? When you practice metta, it is very easy for you to die with mindfulness, right? One day, there was somebody in one of my retreats who said to me, I practice metta for 5 minutes, as I said, but I use three sentences for the loved ones for the first three. The last two, they are not near here. I only use half sentences. I said, why? Because I have different metta for them. I said, you can't do that. You have to have the same metta for everybody, mother, father, and near people, right? Metta means you might start by practicing metta to you, but one day you have to bring the same metta to other people. We call it boundless metta, unparalleled metta. That is the plan. You might, ideally speaking, is that, but in one day you can't go there. It takes time, but one day you are going to go there. That's why we say, Mata yatha niyang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakki. Just as a young mother who has one son and giving unconditional love, but it's a personal love. Young mother has personal love, not metta. But what we are learning from her is the unconditional metta. So we don't have conditional metta. You are a good person to me, so I have a lot of metta for you. But you are a person who had hated me, who had done a lot of bad things to me, so I have very minimal 5% of my metta for you. That means definitely this is going to be a not a very good metta practice. So you can do certain things, but overall, keep your dana thoughts, keep your metta thoughts, keep your panya thoughts 24/7, 365, all the way, all night long, all day long. And one day when you die, your training, your trained thoughts about dana, metta, panya will pop up. They will help you to spend that precious moment. All right. Any other questions for today?
Hi, Bhante. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think so. So from my understanding today is that the last thought that actually count, that determine where we go. I think in the Mahayana, in the Pure Lands, they have the training of you constantly remembering the Buddha, which is Amitabha, so that your thought at the last thought will be the wholesome thought, and then you can reborn in the Pure Land, which is actually, of course, Theravada, we don't believe in that. Is there any other method in Theravada where something similar, at least at the last thought come out will be the wholesome thought, and we won't go something similar like what the Pure Lands are doing? At least it's something that we can, at least to ensure that the last thought won't be the akusala thought.
I have certain questions about the questions. Maybe you can cut down the name of Amitabha, just keep saying Buddha, 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 like Mattakundali. Yeah. Mattakundali story, Mattakundali? Mattakundali now going to die. He got what you call anemia. Some people say what he got was something else. Now, the father was a very greedy guy. He did not want to bring his son to a hospital. Now he brought him outside because when the people coming to see his son, uh, if they come inside the house, they will see the things inside the house. So one morning, the Buddha saw Matta Kundali is going to die today. But I cannot go there. I cannot give a Dhamma talk. He might not understand. What he did was that he sent an aura for him to see. He was in another place. Then Matta Kundali saw this particular light or aura. He saw the Buddha. He thought about the Buddha. He passed away. He became a Deva. So in that case, like the Mahayanis, some recent Mahayana traditions, like say Buddha Amitabha, the meditation Buddha, uh, They say it's the Shakyamuni Buddha is the human version, and the Amitabha Buddha is the meditative Buddha. I would like to take it this way, brother. I'm not trying to say Mahayana Theravada. The Buddha doesn't know these schools. Let me tell you very honestly, clear. He has no idea about these schools. These schools, there were many schools. Some schools they died out. Some schools are still with us. Like there are many Theravada schools too, like Sri Lanka Theravada, maybe other Theravada schools, maybe Sarvastivada, Mahayana school. What I can say is early Buddhism. What is the early Buddhist idea about the final thought? Let me tell you something interesting. Now, when I say last thought matters, somebody might think, then what is the problem? I only take care of my last thought. I will do bad things. Isn't it? Somebody might think, I will do all the bad things. Then if I know some early Buddhist teachings, I will think about a good thought. If I'm a kind of Mahayana person, I will keep counting that kind of, what do you call? There are some digital devices. Buddha Amitabha, Buddha Amitabha. I'm good. I think this is kind of a very, not a standardized practice we see in the Buddhist texts. They are not related to the development of our thoughts, not training our thoughts. What I can say is that if you are a good person, you have been doing a lot of kusala karmas, so definitely your last moment, as that sister asked, last moment will be a good thought. Mostly. But in order to come to that level, you must have been doing a lot of good karmas. Okay? But let's say you've been doing a lot of bad karmas, and finally you might be thinking about the Buddha, like Devadatta. Remember what happened to Devadatta, monk? What happened to him? Just before he passed away, he went to the Buddha, Dhamma Sangha, right? They say that he went to the hell inside near the pond in the Jetavanaram, right? So the better idea is that it is very important to have a very uh, kusala life when you are living. So when you practice the kusalas, 10 kusalas for a long period of time, you don't have to worry about your last moment. But I do understand there are people who have not been practicing so, who are not able to practice so. Then for those people, at least they have that kind of a shortcut, right? Somebody is going to take their suffering away, right? This is the idea. You are thinking about somebody, he will take the suffering away. But by thinking about the Buddha, yes, something could happen to us. Let's say you are going to die. Your thoughts are not very much trained. You can think about the Buddha, definitely. We call it Buddhanusati, the 9 qualities of the Buddha. You can think about the Dhamma, 6 qualities of the Dhamma. You can think about the Sangha, 9 qualities of the Sangha. Mahayana, they have their own way, right? So what I'm trying to say is that now for people like you who have been learning a lot of Dhamma, Sutta, study, everything, you have no excuse. So you should be able to practice dana thoughts, metta thoughts, and panya thoughts. Because you just don't want to become a deva, simple deva. You want to become a human with lots of Dhamma practice so that you are able to go to the next level, at least to become an awakened person. So by going beyond Theravada Mahayana practices, let's call it early Buddhism. Let's learn what the Buddha said. Because early Buddhism is what constructed both the schools, whatever the schools that came up later. And normally Abhidhamma Pitaka is a Theravada canon. And there are other things like Mahayana sutras. But if you look at early Buddhist sutras, they are in Pali. So if you learn from that, what we learn is that train your thoughts for dana, metta, and panya. Make sense? That is a better way to think about it. All right, I think we have almost come down to the time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to share, transfer all the good karmas. Today, I want to recap what we learned today. From today, we have done discussing about the 4 wishes. Now from next Monday, what we're going to do is that the Buddha says, in order for lay people to succeed, accomplish, fulfill these 4 wishes, they must do another 4 things. When you do those 4 things, you are able to fulfill these wishes very easily. That means we have not yet discussed the very important answers to these wishes, even to the last moment, even to live longer, even to have good reputation, even to have wealth righteously, because those answers are coming out in those 4 practices, which we'll be discussing one by one from next week. So may all the good karmas which we've been discussing, making today in whatever the format, be transferred to all the departed ones. May departed ones be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me nyathinam sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyathinam sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyathinam sukita huntu nyatayo. May Deva Naga Mahitika also share all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect all of you for good health, quality of life, and prosperity. In particular, may they bless your Dhamma gems. Finally, may Deva Naga Mahitika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha amihi sambatan punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ettavata cha amihi sambatan punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ettavata cha amihi sambatan punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkhanthu Lokasasanang. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkhanthu Desanang. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkhanthu Mang Paranti Chirang Rakkhanthu Mang Satanti. Also, more importantly, spiritual friendships, noble friendships are very important. The Buddha says 100% of our success in our Dhamma journey depends on how much Kalyana Mittas that we are surrounded by. So we all are Kalyana Mittas to each other. We have the Buddha and we have other people. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas, not even in this life, but also till the life that we are going to attain Nibbana. May we be not in the company of Papa Mittas, bad friends who are pulling us out from this Dhamma path. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagam satang samagamo yavani nibbana pattiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been making today, day 35 of our Sutta discussion, may all these good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That's the end of our Sutta discussion. I will post the unparalleled Dana information maybe in our chat group for others to see more information. I'll be seeing you next week, next Monday at the same time. Wishing you a good night. Safe driving back home. See you soon. Good night.